It was reportedly during the 1st century at the Council of Jamnia, also known as the Council of Yavne, that the rabbis had a debate about whether the book of Esther should be added to the books of Holy Scriptures, the Hebrew Tanakh. The objection raised was there was no mention of God in the book. Wherefore do we then read the declaration in the book of Psalms that the entire word of God is speaking solely of one person?
Then said I, Lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me.
Looking at what the book of Esther is prophetically relating to, we first read the 10 chapters of the account to become fully acquainted with some names and the story outline. Here is what took place around the year 465 BCE in the day of the Persian Empire. These are the main characters: Esther, an unknown Jewish girl who becomes queen; Haman, a fierce and sworn enemy of the Jews; King Xerxes or King Ahasuerus, king of Persia; Mordecai, Esther's uncle. Esther, meaning star, was a Persian reference for a Hebrew name meaning Hadassah. Hadassah is related to the Hebrew word Hadashah, meaning new star. Esther was raised by her uncle Mordecai, having neither father nor mother. Of course, the girl would have had parents, but this is pointing to her having no lineage. Her Jewish identity is concealed while in royalty. Her preparation time in becoming queen comprised of the treatment in cosmetics and ointments for a period of 12 months. Haman was the son of Hammedatha. Hammedatha means that opposes the law, while Haman means a rioter or a rager. We hence have the rioter, the son of the enemy of law. Will this be a reference to the lawless one? And bear that one in mind as we proceed. Trouble brews for the Jews when Mordecai will not bow down to Haman. It's getting interesting. Haman is furious and organized for the destruction of the entire Jewish race and the whole empire, which, as Persia was in complete rule, would have been most of the known world at the time. Let's first take a further look at Haman. He is said to be an Agagite. We have to go back to the Torah and the prophets. The people of Amalek, eternal enemies of God's people, had attacked Israel and tried to stop their entrance into the promised land. At the battle which Joshua fought against them under the banner of Moses, Yahweh Elohim declares,
And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
King Saul is called by God centuries later for the job of destroying the Amalekites and everything they own, but he fails to fully obey the voice of God, leaving out the best of the sheep and the best of the oxen in the destruction and sparing the king of the Amalekites, Agag. This will mean Haman to be a descendant of the Jews' eternal enemy and the last Amalekite. Fuming at Mordecai, whose name means bitterly bruised, Haman plots the complete annihilation of the Jewish people and vents his rage on them. He gets the king Ahasuerus to issue a decree to this effect, which takes place in the 12th year of the king's reign in the 12th Jewish month. It is unknown to him, but he was making a bitter mistake. The 2 12s are already an indication of the fullness of Israel, the reinstating of God's people to their prime form, the 12 tribes. It is a futile thing to plot against the people of the covenant.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper.
At one point during the episode, Haman misjudges a situation and Mordecai triumphs over him in an unplanned way. The now completely enraged Haman is now utterly bent on the extinction of the Jews, and the decreed document is publicized throughout the whole kingdom. The Jews are aghast and there is a lot of mourning and wailing. Mordecai gets a message through to Queen Esther, but the king had, however, not called for her personally by name for a full 30-day period. For Esther to appear before the king unannounced could mean the death sentence being spelled out on her. The only exception being if the king were to reach out his scepter to her, offering her his grace and favor, and offer her an audience or hearing. This was a high chance to take. Mordecai, however, urges her on, and the lives of the whole Jewish nation, the entire Jewish people, were at stake. So Esther, after calling on the whole Jewish nation to hold a fast of 3 days and 3 nights for her, which she herself takes part in, approaches the king. King Ahasuerus looks graciously on her, extending the tip of his scepter to Queen Esther. And here's her case. The Jews now had a powerful ally in the palace, their own queen. Haman, smug and complacent, was invited to a banquet at which Queen Esther, now having the backing of the king, exposes the wicked machinations of Haman. The Haman had previously prepared a 75-foot high gallows for Mordecai, his bitter and hated enemy. The judgment pronounced on Haman was now for him to be hanged on it himself. Haman is hanged on the very instrument he had prepared for Mordecai. But his 10 sons are also later hanged.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition.
Haman and his 10 sons represent the last beast system in rule at the return of the Messiah.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
Which we read from the prophecies of Daniel. So Haman represents the anti-Messiah, hater of Israel, while his 10 sons represent to us his subordinate kings, all of whose forces are obliterated at Messiah's coming. To return to our account, the Jews win the day, completely defeat their enemies with help of the powerful ally they had in the king's palace, Queen Esther. Who is being referred to in this record?
Then said I, Lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me.
One closer look at Queen Esther's attributes: new star, no lineage, concealed Jewish identity, accepted after 3 days and 3 nights, queen from and of the Jews, scepter is extended to her, destroys the enemy once revealed. On the face of the whole earth, there's only one person that this exclusive trait can be most precisely related to: Yeshua HaMashiach. One will have to try very hard, and even then fail, at not being able to recognize these facts. This book is a fascinating revelation about the end of days, our Father in heaven having so much love and compassion for us as to give us a full forecast of how His plans for His people, natural and us grafted in Israel, will forever stand and come to absolute fruition. An account of how the Jews defeat the foe. This is Purim. The defeat of Haman's forces is celebrated on the 15th of the 12th month. The 12th month again pointing to Israel in her full strength. The 15th prophetically reminding us of the last feast of the Hebrew year, Sukkot, which illustrates the wedding of the Lamb and his bride Israel, which also happens on the 15th, albeit the 7th month. Yeshua is waiting and calling on all who will take on the loving invitation and be part of His eternal covenant, placed within a people so precious to Him that He will forever be our defense. Happy Purim.